What is up, my friends? I am back with another stupid tier list video. I had so much fun with the last one. I just had to make another one, and today I'm going to be ranking the best old school RuneScape bosses. Quick disclaimer, I did not make this. This is using a website called tiermaker.com. Somebody else made this list. They imported all the photos. They missed a few. They added some weird ones on there that I wouldn't have added on there, but we'll skip those for the most part. Either way, this is the official Jagex list, and these are not opinions, these are facts. First off, we got Kree, or Armadyl God Wars Dungeon, solidly mid. The boss hits like a truck. You have to get kill count to reach her. It takes a considerable amount of time, and you're probably never getting a drop anyways. Not to mention, you're gonna die and lose like 800 chins every time you go here. Next up, we got Sweatyon. I'm going to put Sweatyon here down in the C tier. Going to Vet'ion kind of sucks because you are going to get PK'd constantly. For some reason, these people are able to find like 10 people who are willing to go PK at Vet'ion to get Dwarven helmets. I don't understand how they can find that. I can't get 3 people together to go PKing anywhere, let alone at Vet'ion. Next up, Bandos. Bandos solidly A tier boss, probably my second favorite of the God Wars dungeons. The new range methods make him super chill, super fun. The drops are pretty decent, and it's kind of just like everybody's introduction to bossing. Bandos God Wars dungeon was my first, probably your first. Next up, Dagannoth Kings. Solidly B tier. I hesitate. I might want to put those in A tier. I love the DKs. It's one of my first bosses, and learning those like back in the good old days when you could get a 6 mil dragon axe. Oh, just so many good times had there. You're always doing something. It involves a little bit of switching styles, switching prayers, so it's a little bit more involved than a lot of the starter bosses like Bandos, and for that reason, I love DKs. Yeah, it's solidly B tier boss just because the drops aren't that great, at least not anymore. Next up, we got Jad. Jad is a high A tier boss, and my favorite Slayer task in the game. You get like 36k Slayer EXP for a full run with that bonus at the end. There's just so much to learn from Jad and the Fight Caves experience. This one is a really good accelerator to get yourself from the kind of like an early game player into the mid to late game. And for some reason they put Zuck right up next. For similar reasons, I'm putting him as our first S tier boss. The Inferno is such a complex encounter, and no other experience in RuneScape has been as fulfilling as getting my Inferno cape. It is painful. It took me like 8 real tries, but yeah, like Inferno, there's just so many different small things that you can do to improve. There's just so much going on at once. This encounter deserves its S tier rank. Next up, we got Zora. Zora deserves to be an A tier. The drops are no longer that great. They were pretty dope when he was first released, but Zora, I put it in A because there's no boss that's better at getting you better at RuneScape's current mechanics. Before, you kind of had that point, click, wait, boss dies, on to the next one type of thing. With Zora, you're moving around, you're switching your prayers, you're switching your gear, you're just constantly doing different things. There's a large skill ceiling for Zora, getting those kills faster, more efficient, just learning all the rotations and everything. Zora is just a beautiful boss to learn, and yeah, he's an A tier boy. Next up, Skotizo. Skotizo down here in C tier. Skotizo kind of sucks, just like not really that engaging. The portals always seem to come up right when you're near the end of the kill to make it last forever, and you do need to farm up totems to enter Skotizo. The drops are decent, and you get free clues. That's the only reason he's not F tier. And yeah, those totems themselves are going to take hours for you to be able to just fight Skotizo once. Next up, we got the Sire. Sire is also C tier. If there was a D tier on this one, he would be a D tier boss. I hate the Sire. He's overly complicated for the rewards that you get. You're probably never getting an unsired. Those miasma pools or acid pools or whatever are just going to like drain all of your health. You have to teleport out to your house, teleport back. Yo, fuck the Sire. Callisto. Callisto's B tier, high B tier. And I like Callisto. The current mechanics kind of suck, how you have to safe spot him or anything, but what's not to love about a big bear in the wilderness? Hopefully these upcoming changes make him a little bit more engaging. Cerberus, the C tier. We're going C tier on Cerberus. It's just, if you're an Iron Man, you probably think he's like an F tier because he just eats your prayer pots at an unbelievable rate. The drops are not worth shit except for 2 of them, and all the other ones, they're just kind of meh. He's kind of a meh boss overall. The pet isn't that cool, and he takes forever to get to. You know there's something wrong with the boss where one of the best drops is teleports to get back to the boss. Chaos Elemental. We're putting Chaos Elemental as our first F tier boss. He's just super outdated. He hits like a truck through prayer. You can't really pray against his things because he changes it on you. He teleports your ass around. He'll unequip your gear. It is funny if he's doing this to a PKer who's doing it to you. And yeah, not to mention he's in multi at the very peak pinnacle top of the wilderness. Yeah, solidly F tier boss. Corporeal Beast. We're doing this one B tier, and I'm only doing this one as B tier because I'm thinking of the anticipated way of killing it by Jagex with a team with spears. You know, we're just like a bunch of the villagers with the pitchforks going to get the beast, that type of thing. It is fun to do that with the team. You guys can like split sigils only. Everybody's competing for MVP. That experience is fun. If I was ranking this as solo, it'd be F tier because you have to just like spam special attacks for 20 minutes before killing him. But if we're doing him as intended, solidly B tier boss. Hello, Corrupted Gauntlet. We're doing S tier for Corrupted Gauntlet. This is the best way to rebuild your account if you get hacked or scammed or something. And yeah, just you don't need any gear to do it. It's extremely complex. The encounter is extremely rewarding to learn. I died 50 plus times before getting my first completion, so it's extremely difficult. And there's just a large amount that you can get better at in the Corrupted Gauntlet. Mole. I love the Mole, but he's a B tier boss. Just because you do need to get the Prospector's outfit to get fairly hard to make completing him even an option. It's miserable without that. He would be an F tier boss without the ability to track him down. Olm. It's just Chambers of Zerk. There's no like demi bosses on here, which thank God I wouldn't be doing all those anyways. But yeah, the Chambers of Zerk, very complex. Great rewards. The challenge modes have a cool pet, and the Twisted Ancestral set is one of my favorite armor sets in the game. Yeah, it's just it's more complex than anything else on this list so far, other than the Inferno. And for that reason, it is a lot of fun, and it's going to be an A tier boss for us. Kelphi Queen, we're not talking about the pet. Kelphi Queen is my favorite pet in the game, but the boss encounter itself is F tier for the same reason that Chaos Elemental is F tier. It's outdated. It's an old boss, and it feels like an old boss. You're getting hit constant 30s, no matter what you're praying. KBD, I'm gonna pop that one up just a tier because it is a little bit less painful than the other 2 legacy bosses to kill, but he is still a little bit outdated. He hits so much, it's unavoidable. He poisons you, and yeah, you just seem to take so much damage in a solo, and I'm saying this as a completely maxed player in max gear. Krill. I hesitate. Zammy's like an A&a half, almost S tier. I love Zammy. The T-bow 5-0, or even like Rune Crossbow if you're an Iron Man 5-0 method at Zammy, makes him such a breeze. The spear is great. The Hosta is like necessary on an Iron Man. Yeah, it's just an all-around dope encounter. Sarachnis, it's a C tier boss, like kind of weak. It just is. It's one of those bosses that is just farmed by endgame pet hunters, despite it being made for mid-game players. Kind of like the Mole, but I like the Mole a little bit more. Next up, Scorpia. Scorpia, we're gonna go C tier on that. It's in the wilderness. There's really no drops to it. You can get like the ward pieces, but those aren't worth shit anymore. It's literally just for pet hunting. Deep wilderness in multi. Not too fun of an encounter. Not too hard, but Thasani's Nightmare, B tier. only be the encounter itself is A tier. Getting to the boss is F tier. So we're gonna meet in the middle-ish at B tier. Venenotus, B tier 2. It's an alright boss to farm. It's probably your best bet of a dragon pickaxe if you're an Iron Man account. You can AFK him, which is a plus. You're gonna die a little bit, but it's worth it. Be able to snooze just for a little bit, but you probably are gonna get PK'd a little bit, so kind of a B tier boss. Vorkath is B tier. I can't bring myself to bring Vorkath any higher than B tier. It's just such a simple boss. You use one attack style, you hit the boss and you dodge like some of his other attacks. It's not really all too much to it, but he's a step above the C tier bosses as he does just shit out money at an unbelievable rate. There's a reason so many mid-game players just farm the ever-loving shit out of Vorkath, and that is because he is a great moneymaker. So here's what I was talking about. I don't know why they even put this guy on here. Both versions of the archaeologist are on here. I'm gonna put them both in C. They don't really drop anything that worthwhile unless you really want a fedora. Don't wear a fedora. Anyways, yeah, C tier, not gonna talk anymore about him. We got this crystal rabbit thing. If you don't know, it's an encounter in the elf world that it has an amazing amount of HP. It hits like a truck and all of that. It's not really a boss though, it's more of a gimmick, and we're just gonna use this to represent Tombs of a Masket because there is no TOA on this tier list. We're gonna go A tier for TOA. I repeat, that isn't a rabbit, it's TOA. TOA's good. It's not as good as TOB. It's a little bit of a letdown in that regard. It was a lot of fun the first 2 weeks. I got super burnt out at it. I have friends asking me to go TOA like all the time now. I cannot bring myself to do it. The monkey pre-room is abysmal, and just, I feel at a certain point, the invocations just make everything harder to kill without adding any new mechanics that are actually enjoyable to do. Yeah, down at the bottom here, we're getting like lots of the weird ones. We got Obor. I'm gonna do Bryophyta and the same thing. Free-to-play bosses. It's cool that there are free-to-play bosses. When I first started, there were not free-to-play bosses, but these ones kind of suck because you have to get keys in order to kill them, and those keys take forever. None of the loot from them is like really worth writing home about. The Bryophyta staff is like 9 mil, 7 mil, something like that, and I already got it off my collection log, which is good, but yeah, nothing really too great about either of them, but they are meant for free-to-play, so with that in mind, if I was a free-to-play person, they'd be ranking S tier because those are the only bosses that you have access to. Hespori. Ooh, can I expand the C tier? I'm not going to, yes I am. Hespori's okay. It is fun to continuously go for faster and faster PBs on Hespori. That's like the only fun thing about it. You get the one drop of the bucket, and that's about it. Next up, we got the Chaos guy. He's in the wilderness. He doesn't really drop much. He can give you the pet, so I guess he's a step above some of the other demi-bosses, but yeah, I'm not going to talk about him anymore. We got Waifu Zilliana coming in here as a B tier. She's probably my least favorite God Wars dungeon boss. Kill count, worst kill count, probably the only place you should use ecumenical keys. I never get any drops there. I don't know about you. The boss encounter itself, it's fine. It's like all the other ones now. You just kite her around the room, but yeah, I feel negatively towards her because she has not given me any loot or her pet. Next up, we got Zolcano. Zolcano's not very fun, but there is a way to have fun at Zolcano. Find yourself a world with a bunch of gold farmers, preferably 4, which is like the ideal team. Join them and just refuse to leave. They're gonna spam in the chat full. You're gonna ignore this completely and just cheer them on. Tell them how good of a job they're doing, congratulate them if they get any drops that are shown in chat, and just involuntarily team with them. They put Temperos on here. I'm not gonna put Temperos on there. Temperos is a minigame. It is not a boss. It is not going on my tier list. Last but not least, of the things that I'm actually gonna put on here, we have the Theater of Blood. The Theater of Blood is the best piece of content in RuneScape, and I dare say it might never be surpassed. It's just so much fun. The rewards are great. And there's never been such a piece of content that has such a variance of skill level throughout it. The skill ceiling for the Theater of Blood is just to the moon. Completing it just at the bare minimum is so difficult. One, because you have to have a team that is just all on point to do it. If like one member of your team is lacking, you're having a problem there. Which is just, it's fantastic. There's just so many little things that you can do to get better at every single room, at every single role in every single room. Theater of Blood is truly the greatest masterpiece Jagex has ever produced. That's that. Thank you for watching. These are so much fun to do. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. If you disagree with any of my picks, you are wrong, and that's something that you're just gonna have to get used to. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to my channel for more, and I will see you next time.